this video, you're going to learn how you can create a team of AI agents that uses the latest cryptocurrency news in order to create a market report based on the news. Let's get started. If you want to follow along, there is a complete text tutorial that is available for ML Expert Pro subscribers within the bootcamp, and then build agentic apps. And here you can get the complete tutorial along with the source code that is required to build the agents, along with the link to the actual Jupyter notebook that we're going to use. And if you want to support my work, please consider subscribing to ML Expert Pro. Thank you. So our task is to create cryptocurrency market reports based on the latest news. And for that, we are going to be using AI agents. And more specifically, we're going to be using the CrewAI library. So this is a library that is, of course, open source. And essentially what you get here is a set of agents that you can define. Then you have some tasks that those agents need to accomplish. And you are giving those agents some tools in order to help them with the tasks. So another diagram from the CrewAI library is this one, which is very easy probably to follow. So you define some agents. Now those agents, some of those agents or all of those agents are provided with some tools. And in our example, we're going to be using a tool that is actually searching for the latest cryptocurrency news. Then you have some process that is essentially managing the way that those agents are working. And you're also providing some tasks in order to get a certain outcome that you want. Of course, each agent needs to be powered by something. And in our case, we are going to be powering the AI agents using GPT-4 Turbo. But in the next video, I'm going to show you how you can use an open source or open model such as Llama 3. So in order to get started with the CrewAI library, I'm going to be using pip to install the CrewAI tools. And this is going to install the latest version of the library as of now. That is also including the tools within the CrewAI library. And then for the search, we are going to be using the DuckDuckGo search library. And I'm also going to install the latest version of this. So the imports here are quite normal, except for the CrewAI agent, crew, process, and task. And we are going to be using all of those imports in a bit. Then we are going to be using the WOT tools, not the tool at the moment, but the WOT tools. And then we are going to be using the LangChain community DuckDuckGo search results tool, which is essentially going to allow us to integrate with the CrewAI tools. And note that the agents are actually from the CrewAI are based on the LangChain library. So under the hood, the CrewAI library is using LangChain. And then we are also getting the chat OpenAI. So this is going to be the interface for our LLM. And here I'm essentially providing a helper function that is going to be displaying the news results for us. And then I'm adding the OpenAI API key. So you need to have your OpenAI key right here in order for all this to work. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how you can essentially use the tool that we're going to be providing. And I'm going to create an instance of that. I just want to get the news for the results. And then I want a maximum of 10 results. You can, of course, increase or decrease that. And here is a sample of what you get. So I'm going to be calling just the run method with the query that I'm passing in. And this is going to be, for example, Bitcoin. And at the time of writing this, these were some of the news. You can see that there are from 17th of April. So this is a bit old now, but back then these were the news articles. And here are some snippets of those. I've tried this with Ethereum. So pretty much the same cryptocurrency. Yeah, you get the gist of it. So the next part is how you can create the tools. And we've already seen the tool for the news search. And the other tool that we're going to be using is the human tool. So this is going to allow us for an agent to ask questions to the user or to you. So this is a really important one as well. And then we are going to be creating this LLM that is going to be, as I've said previously, GPT-4 Turbo. And of course, you can use a different model right here, but it appears that the GPT-4 Turbo is very good at the use case of agents. The first step that we're going to take in order to create our team or crew of agents is actually to have a look at what agents are and how you can define them. So according to the documentation of CrewAI, you can see that an agent is autonomous unit programmed to perform tasks. So again, we are needing or having some tasks that need to be completed, make decisions, and then one very important part here is communicating with other agents. Of course, this is really important since you want to create a team of those agents. And in order to create an agent, you basically need to provide a role, a goal of the agent, and then a backstory. So this is the context or the history of this agent. Of course, in our case, we're going to be providing an LLM that is going to be the brains of this model, and then some tools if you want to, and then we are going to be providing function calling LLM, which in our case is going to be not used. Then another important parts are maximum number of iterations that the agent can perform. So this is sometimes a hit and miss, depends very much on your LLM. And if you increase this a lot, you can going to be paying a lot of money in order to run those agents. So a conservative value about this would be something like 3 or 5 or even 10, depending on the complexity of the agent. Then verbose, one that I'm really using. I just want to have a look at what the agent is doing and debug based on that. Then this is another very important one. Agents can delegate tasks or question to another one. So essentially, when you have a team of agents, one agent can provide a delegation to another agent to do a specific task, and this defaults to true. And we'll see how I'm going to be using this. And then you can cache the responses for tool usage. And this is something that you might want to disable based on the task that you're running. But in our case, we're going to be using the default value for this. So here is a sample agent from the CrewAI library documentation. You can see the role, the goal, and the backstory. And then there are some tools, the LLM, etc. So essentially, this is the way that you are going to be providing an agent that is going to be defined using CrewAI. So our first example is going to be a rather simple one, and we are going to be defining only 3 different agents. And the first one is pretty much the one that is going to be asking you the question, which cryptocurrencies are you interested in? And here is the definition of it: senior cryptocurrency customer communicator. And the goal of this is again to find which cryptocurrencies you're interested in. And this agent is going to be again highly skilled in communicating about cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology with customers and their research needs. So essentially, this is going to be the agent that is asking the questions and then getting the list of the cryptocurrency for the tasks. You see that I'm providing the LLM, which is going to be, of course, the GPT-4 Turbo in our case. I do want this to have some memory. And in this tutorial, I'm not going to go down into the memory lane, if you will, but the memory is actually a way to do some embeddings and storage. And by default, this is using GPT or OpenAI embeddings. And of course, you can create some other embeddings using, for example, GPT-4o embeddings and other open source alternatives. But in our case, the memory is not going to be that important. Next, I'm going to create the analyst. So this is going to be the analyst that is going to be analyzing the market news. And the goal based on the news is to specify the current trend. And for each asset, specify a number between 1 and 100, where 0 is extreme fear and 100 is extreme greed. So this is going to be giving us a value for whether or not the markets are fearful or greedy, depending on this value. And then we are getting a backstory that this agent is actually a very skilled in cryptocurrency analyst. And here is also have a deep understanding of macro factors and multiple theories, cycle theory, etc. You understand news, their titles and information. and it is somewhat skeptical. Your most well-developed talent is providing clear and concise summarization that explains very complex market topics in simple to understand terms. So this agent is going to be providing essentially some sort of a report that is based on the news for each cryptocurrency that we are going to be providing. And we don't want any delegation for this. The maximum iterations are a bit higher. And this agent was using the human tool, so in order to ask us questions, but the analyst is going to be using the search tool. So in order to get the news, it's going to be using the search tool that is going to be using the Go search under the hood. And the final agent is the one that is going to be providing this cryptocurrency newsletter. That is essentially the final report. And the goal of this is to write an insightful, compelling, and informative 3-paragraph long newsletter based on the cryptocurrency report. So essentially, this is going to be getting the analyst response, and then this is going to be given to the writer. You're deeply familiar with all cryptocurrency assets and blockchain technology. You understand complex concepts and create compelling stories and narratives that resonate with wider audience. So essentially, this is going to be getting the technical details and then providing some sort of report, a report that is going to be much better compared to what you might get for analyst, or much easier to understand. You're a master of communicating effectively and create narratives that engage the audience, etc. You can essentially read that on your own, but I've asked this agent to create a bullet list that is going to be the executive summary. And then I just wanted this to create a compelling introduction and conclusion. So I wanted this to be a somewhat more interesting read compared to something dry that might came out of analyst. The next concept that we are going to be using is that of the task. And the task is essentially what you want your agents to do. And for that purpose, we have a clear quest that is representing a task, and each task must have a description, so what needs to be done. Then the agent responsible for the task. So this is a way to set who is going to be doing what, and then what you want as an output. You can also use a set of tools, so you can choose to provide the tools within the task or within the agents. So this is depending on what you want to complete and personal preference. Also, you can get a context, so you can essentially create a graph or a tree of tasks, and you can say that you want to wait for the output of another task in order to complete this one. So you can specify dependencies between the tasks. Also, you can provide some specific JSON or pedantic or anything else as an output format. And you can essentially ask for human feedback. So this is, again, another important point that you can essentially have a look at the human and enter it within the loop of the agent. So for example, after some task get complete, you can get the input of the human. If he or she is happy with the results, you can, for example, continue. Or maybe the human wants some adjustments to the outputs or to the way that the task is completed, and you can allow this right here. So our simple way to create a task, or probably the simplest way, is to provide just the description and then the agent. So this is essentially required, as you can see. Again, the expected output is something that you want for your task to be provided as well. So here is an example. Find and summarize the latest AI news, a bullet list summary of the top 5 most important AI news. So this is a task that you can essentially create. And here is how you can refer other tasks within the context. And I'm going to show you how you can do that in our example. So in our setup, we are going to be having a task for each agent. So again, this is a very simple example. And in our case, we're going to be getting the cryptocurrencies that the customer is wanting to have a look at. So here is the ask cryptocurrencies the customer is interested in. And you can see that the expected output is actually a list of the cryptocurrencies. Then get the news, take a list of the cryptocurrencies and always include Bitcoin and Ethereum to it if not requested. So we are adding additional information right here. Use the search tool to search for each asset individually. And you can see that I'm providing a context to the get cryptocurrencies list right here. And I'm also passing in the current date. So in that way, if the search results for the news are something that is not as expected, or maybe they are a bit too old, the agent knows that the current date is, for example, let's say 2 or 3 days newer compared to what you get from the news. So it might discount some of the news. Of course, this is dependent on your use case. And then we are getting an output summary of the overall cryptocurrency market and one sentence summary for each customer requested asset. Include a fear grid score for each asset based on the news. Use the format crypto asset summary based on news, trend prediction, fear grid score. So this is the format that I want each of these cryptocurrencies to be represented as. And then we have the write newsletter task. Use the cryptocurrency report to create a newsletter that is brief and highlights the most important points. Focus on the news, trend, and fear grid score. What are the near and future considerations? Don't rely on hype, but be clear and factual. So this is really important. And again, the output is something that is very well defined. 3 paragraphs for the newsletter, formatted as a markdown and easily readable manner. 3 bullets: executive summary, introduction, main part, and summary. And this is given to the writer, of course, and the context is essentially the report from the get news or the analyst. So this is the way that you can essentially provide the communication or the reference to the previous task using the context right here. And pretty much every task here is contextualized except for the get cryptocurrencies list. So in order to run all of this, we are going to be creating this instance of Crew. So this is the team essentially, and here you're passing in all of the agents, all of the tasks. I'm going to be providing a hierarchical process. So what this means is that this manager LLM can decide which one should do which task. We want the full output. We don't want to share this Crew, and we are going to be providing a maximum iterations for the complete process. You see that we are not anywhere near this limit, but just in case I'm setting this up. And I want this to be very verbose. And when you run the Crew kickoff, you see that Crew Manager is starting, and the starting task is to ask which cryptocurrencies the customer is interested in. And here we have a thought. So this is a very similar formatting to what you got from LangChain, for example. And the first action is to delegate work to coworker. Coworker senior cryptocurrency customer communicator, very important. Inquire about customers' interest in cryptocurrencies. Okay. And then Crew agent executor chain. I need to communicate with the customer directly. So this is essentially going to ask us for the human input. How can I reach out to the customer to inquire about their interests? So I'm asking for Solana and Dogecoin as example of cryptocurrency. I know the final answer. The customer is currently interested in Solana and Dogecoin. The customer is currently interested in Solana and Dogecoin. So next, we are going to be providing this output of cryptocurrencies equal to Solana and Dogecoin. So you can see the list is now got. Take the list of cryptocurrencies and always, so this is the next task, the task of getting the news, the current date. So this is the way that this is going to be analyzing the news. And here we are getting query latest cryptocurrency market news for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Dogecoin, April 17, 2024. And this is essentially the news. But of course, you can see that the query for the search is not that great. But yeah, you can probably tweak the prompts and have a look at the results of the news for each individual asset. So next, with the gathered news snippet, this is the summary that is going to be provided by the analyst, and I'm going to show you in a bit the whole summary. Yeah, this is the summary actually. And now the next one is going to be the next one is going to be the cryptocurrency mark and newsletter writer. Draft a clear and factual cryptocurrency newsletter. So this is a rewrite of the task that I've given it. And here is actually the summary. So we have the executive summary, introduction, and I'm going to show you the result of that in a second, much nicely formatted. So essentially, this is the end of this chain. And as a result, you're getting the final output and the tasks output. And in order to get the summary of the market from the analyst, you can get the first output. So this is essentially the second one. And you're getting overall cryptocurrency market summary, then Bitcoin news summary, Ethereum news summary, Solana news summary, and Dogecoin news summary. And these are essentially the trends along with a fear and greed score. Yeah, everything is here actually. The summary, the trend prediction, the fear and greed score. Yeah, it looks really good. And then this is the markdown of the final newsletter. You can see the executive summary. This is a bit strange that it included the words themselves with the introduction and the detailed analysis, but you can see that we have the bullet points, we have the introduction, we have the main part of the newsletter, and for each one we have a short paragraph of the performance of this asset, and then we have the conclusion and future outlook. So yeah, it seems like the result is actually using the news. It is providing some analysis for each cryptocurrency that we are asking for, and then you are getting this newsletter report based on that. So we had a look at how you can build a very simple team of agents using CrewAI. And now you can essentially use some news in order to create this cryptocurrency market newsletter report. It looks like that the using of these three agents and three simple tasks were able to provide us with this kind of report that uses the news. Of course, there is a lot of room for improvement, but I believe that this is a very good starting point in order to build upon this. And of course, you can use other agents, or you can change the prompts for this one. And of course, you can try other models as well that might perform even better. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, join the Discord channel that I'm going to link down into the description. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can use Llama 3 with Grok API instead of the ChatGPT version that we're using here. And we are going to see whether or not we are going to be able to improve on our crew with that open LLM. Thanks for watching. Bye.